Okay, so side lesson, since you're going to want to be using images, this is Photopea, which is like an online Photoshop. If you have Photoshop or you can get Photoshop, I recommend Photoshop. But for those of you who this is your first time really doing these things, we'll use Photopea because it's free. So what you want to do first is open the picture. So you're going to click open, and there's my abomination in my web page file. I hit open. And so in the last lesson we put this up and we realized, okay, all this other information is part of the picture. Well, let's say we just want the card. Okay, there's going to be a bit of work. So really your Photoshop skill or your image skill really has to do with how much time and effort you're willing to put into something, because you could be really good at it or it could look like trash. It all depends on how much effort you want to put in. So I'm going to start off by saying I'm not going to put a lot of effort into this picture. I'm just going to do it basic. Like I said, if you want to do better, you can. So what you need to find is your eraser tool, and I'm looking for it. There it is. That's a weird looking thing. But anyway, there's the eraser tool. It says eraser. Okay. Now very basically I just want to cut it out. So I will increase the size. I'm pushing the button on the keyboard. That's not helping you see. Here's the size. So let's make this really big. Okay, I'm not trying to spend forever doing this. Okay, that's pretty big. So we're going to go with that. As you see, when you click, it starts to erase immediately. Okay. Now I'll get pretty close, like this, leaving the little bit there. So now I want to change the side. I want to make it smaller. That's too small. Let's see what 100 looks like. Actually, 68 looks pretty good. Right, so now I'm going to get in closer. Now I'm going to get in closer, and it makes sense to get in closer. So use your zoom in tool, and you're scrolling on your mouse up and down, and then you go back to the eraser, and you've already got it the size it should be. Now, I mean, it's difficult. You're doing it with a mouse. I'm doing it with a mouse. If you're going to get serious with Photoshop, I like to use the Wacom pen. Okay. And like I said, I'm not putting too much effort into this. I mean, if I want to show you the example, this side's no effort. Now, if I put real effort in, okay, I'm going to be clicking little bits like this, right? And you're going to take a lot of time to get as close as possible without losing the card. Okay, so this is an example of how much time you're going to spend doing something. But I don't want to, you know, spend forever on this video where you watch me do this. So I'm just basically cutting it, you know, as close as I can without going crazy. I'm not being see, I really cut it there. I didn't want to do that, but that's okay. We're just gonna roll with that. This is not me trying to be a perfectionist. If I was actually doing this to put it on a website, I would get the Wacom tool out. I would be super zoomed in. Okay, I'm talking about like, just to give you an example of how zoomed in I would be if I was actually doing this for real. There you go. That's how zoomed in I'd be. Okay, just giving you examples of the kind of work that you should be doing for the class. But I'm not making a video where I'm spending an hour doing this. Okay, I'm just cutting it off so you get an idea. But So there we go. Picture is done, and then I say file, export as, always do that. Export as JPEG. Yes, it looks good. The quality, we don't want 70%, we want 100%, always 100%. And we hit save. Now it gives me my abomination.jpg. We're going to show that. Where did that go? We want to know where that went. See, it went to my downloads. That's not good. So I'm going to hit Control X, and we're going to go back to the correct folder, which is my web page. And I hit Control V. And yes, I want to replace the file that's there with the one I just put in. So now we go back and we're going to check real quick. I should go to web notes. There we go. So there's my abomination now cut out. Okay, not very, I mean, it's ugly down here, it's ugly up there. That's ugly. I would spend more time. But for the short period of time that I've made this video, that is a good example of how to do that. With Photoshop, with Photopea, you can do a lot more stuff. There are a lot of tools here. If you're really into it and you really want to, you know, manipulate some images, create some images, if you want to be an artist, go to YouTube and look at those videos. Okay, you'll see a lot of resources open for you.